If you're waking up tired, unsteady, and foggy after 60, it's not because your body is failing. It's because you're missing the right nightly cue. And here's what no doctor has told you. One simple cup of clove water at night can shift everything. I'm going to give you 15 benefits today. Number 3, soothes the throat. Number 2, multiplies all the others when timed correctly. And number 1, kept for later, may change how you sleep for the rest of your life. In Japanese community homes, I've seen elders who ended supper with this ritual enjoy calmer nights, fewer complaints, and mornings that felt steadier without adding new medication. This is simple, safe, and costs almost nothing. Before we dive deeper, I want you to comment below. What time do you usually head to bed? Share it, because you'll see why that detail matters in just a moment. I am Dr. Suzuki Sato, one of Japan's most experienced nutritionists, and for decades I've worked with seniors over 60 to uncover hidden signals that change the body's rhythm. Now let's start with why restless nights are so dangerous and why clove water is different. Let me ask you something. How many times do you wake up at night, look at the clock, and feel frustrated that your body just won't cooperate? For some, it's once. For others, it's 2, 3, or more times. And every time it happens, it chips away at your strength. By morning, your balance is a little less steady. Your memory feels a little foggier. Even small tasks like walking to the bathroom or getting dressed can feel heavier than they should. Here's the part nobody explains clearly. Your nights aren't just broken because of age. They're broken because your body is confused. It doesn't know when to shut down and when to stay alert. And the reason it's confused is because the signals you're giving it before bed aren't clear. Think about your evenings, a late heavy meal, cold drinks from the fridge, maybe some television noise until the very last minute. Each of these sends a message, and that message is the opposite of rest. This is why so many people find themselves awake at 2 or 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, wishing for one more hour of peace. And here's the twist. Most people try to solve the problem the wrong way. They reach for pills, which often leave them groggy and unstable. Or they drink plain water in the night, which leads to more bathroom trips and less rest. The cycle keeps repeating and mornings feel worse and worse. But here's where the story changes. In Japan, many elders don't finish their day with plain water or heavy snacks. They finish with a small, warm cup of clove water. Now, on the surface, that may sound too simple. But the science and tradition behind it tell us something powerful. Cloves contain natural oils that soothe the mouth and throat. The aroma relaxes the jaw and calms the nervous system. And the warmth itself signals to the body that the day is over. It's not about the drink alone. It's about the message it delivers. Imagine this with me. You finish supper earlier, close the kitchen, and instead of ending the night with noise or cold drinks, you sit down with a small warm cup of clove water. You sip slowly. You feel your throat relax, your breathing slows, and without even trying, you've told your body, it's safe to rest now. That's the difference between a confusing signal and a clear one. I once spoke with an elder in Nagano who had given up on sleeping through the night. He said, "This is just age. Nothing will change." But we made 2 simple adjustments. He moved supper earlier, and he ended it with warm clove water. A week later, he said, "I still wake once, but I no longer wake 4 times. My mornings feel lighter." That's not a miracle. That's consistency. That's a clear message to the body. Now let me make something crystal clear. This isn't a cure. Clove water won't erase every problem. But what it can do is help retrain your body's rhythm. Because your nervous system learns through patterns. And the more often you give it a calming signal at the right time, the more likely it is to respond with deeper, steadier rest. So let me ask you, what's the last thing you usually do before bed? Is it turning off the television, taking pills, drinking cold water? I want you to think about it, and if you feel comfortable, share it in the comments. You'll be surprised how many people are going through the same thing, and your note might give someone else the push to try something new. Here's a line I want you to remember. Your nights don't begin when you turn off the lights. They begin in the 2 or 3 hours before bed. That's when your body is deciding how it will sleep. And that's why this simple nightly ritual, practiced consistently, can lead to mornings that feel steadier, lighter, and safer. Now that you see how powerful a signal can be, let's look at the 3 things that decide whether clove water helps or hurts: the timing, the temperature, and the state of your stomach. Now that you understand why clove water is more than just a drink, let's talk about the 3 details that decide if it actually helps you or if it backfires. Because here's the truth: even the best ritual can fall apart if it's done at the wrong time, in the wrong way. First, timing. This one surprises almost everyone. If you drink anything too close to bedtime, your body doesn't have enough time to settle. The stomach is still working, acid is still moving, and instead of deep rest, you get reflux, coughing, or trips to the bathroom. That's why so many people wake up at 1 or 2 a.m., feeling irritated instead of refreshed. The sweet spot? About 2 hours after supper, but at least an hour before lying down. That window gives your stomach time to relax, so when you finally close your eyes, the body isn't fighting food, it's focusing on rest. Think about this. How many nights have you felt that sour taste in your throat? That's reflux, and it doesn't just disturb sleep. Over time, it can weaken your esophagus and make mornings miserable. Simply shifting the timing of your last drink, even before adding cloves, can change how your nights feel. Timing is not just a detail, it's the foundation. Second, temperature. This may sound small, but it matters more than people think. Too hot, and the drink irritates your throat. Too cold, and it jolts your body awake instead of calming it down. The goal is gentle warmth, like the comfort of a cozy blanket. That warmth relaxes your throat, softens your jaw, and helps your breathing slow naturally. In Japan, elders describe it as giving the body permission to exhale the day. And when the body exhales, the mind follows. Here's a simple test. If you have to blow on it for a long time, it's too hot. If it feels like fridge water, it's too cold. You want it warm enough to sip comfortably without wincing. That one detail can be the difference between a night of steady breathing and a night of restlessness. Third, the state of your stomach. This is where many people go wrong. They think, if a little is good, more must be better. But with cloves, strength matters. Too strong and it irritates. Too weak and the signal gets lost. 1 or 2 cloves steeped gently in warm water for just a few minutes is usually enough. If your stomach tends to be sensitive, start with 1 clove, steeped briefly, and notice how your body responds. I once worked with a woman in Osaka who loved the idea of clove water. She used 10 cloves, steeped for half an hour, and then wondered why her stomach felt upset. When we cut it back to just 2 cloves for 5 minutes, everything changed. Her nights became calmer and her mornings steadier. The lesson? More is not better. Consistency and balance are. Let me ask you a question. Do you usually eat late, or do you finish supper earlier in the evening? Share it in the comments, because you'll notice a pattern. Those who eat late often struggle the most at night. And if you recognize yourself in that group, know this. Even shifting supper 30 minutes earlier can make clove water far more effective. Here's something you'll want to hear again. The drink itself is not magic. The power comes from the way these 3 details, timing, temperature, and balance, work together to send a clear message to your body. Miss one, and the signal fades. Get them right, and you'll be amazed at how different your nights begin to feel. Think of it like tuning a radio. If the station isn't clear, you get static. But once the dial is set just right, the sound is smooth and steady. Your body works the same way. These 3 adjustments tune the signal so the message of rest comes through loud and clear. So, as you picture your evenings from now on, remember this. Finish supper earlier, keep the drink warm but not hot, and keep the cloves gentle. That's how you create a nightly rhythm your body can understand. And when your body understands, your nights stop fighting you. They start supporting you. Now that you know the timing, temperature, and balance that set the stage, let's talk about how to actually make clove water work for you, because this is where the ritual moves from theory into practice. And once you see how simple it is, you'll understand why it's been passed down quietly through generations in Japan. The first habit is preparation, and let me be clear, this is not complicated. You don't need fancy tools or exotic ingredients. You just need 1 or 2 whole cloves and a cup of warm water. Place the cloves in, let them steep for 3 to 7 minutes, and then remove them. That's it. What happens next is not only about taste, it's about what your body feels. The gentle oils from the clove soothe the mouth and throat. The aroma works its way into your senses and signals the brain that it's time to calm down. And the warmth itself does what no cold drink ever can. It relaxes the body from the inside out. Here's why this matters. When you combine warmth, aroma, and timing, you're speaking to your nervous system in a language it actually understands. It's like flipping a switch from day mode to night mode, and if you've ever felt trapped in restless nights, you know how badly your body craves that signal. The second habit is placement. This is the one almost everyone overlooks. People hear about clove water and think, I'll drink it right before bed. But that's too late. If you wait until your head is already on the pillow, you're forcing the body to do 2 things at once: digest and sleep. Instead, drink it right after the kitchen closes. That could be an hour and a half, even 2 hours before bed. Think of it as the period on the sentence of your day. Once the cup is finished, the body knows the meal is complete, the day is ending, and it's time to slow down. That rhythm, meal, cup, rest, becomes the clearest signal of all. And now, here's the quiet accelerator. This is the part that multiplies the effect, but only if you use it the right way. It's not a supplement. It's not another drink. It's simply the kind of supper you pair it with. If your last meal of the day is heavy, rich meats, fried foods, or late desserts, your stomach will keep working long into the night, and that cancels out the calming effect of the clove water. But when your evening meal is lighter, fish, tofu, vegetables, or broth, the clove water doesn't have to fight. It gets to finish what supper started. The message is clear. The work is done. It's time to rest. I want you to picture this. Imagine ending your evening with a light bowl of miso soup and soft vegetables. You close the kitchen. You steep 2 cloves in a warm cup of water, sit in your chair, sip slowly, and let your body exhale. Then you rinse your mouth with plain water to keep it fresh, lower the lights, and ease into bed. Can you feel how different that rhythm is compared to heavy food, cold drinks, and television noise right up until bedtime? This is why I keep repeating one truth. The drink itself is not magic. The power is in the pattern. The more consistent the pattern, the more your body responds. That's why in Japanese elder homes the results show up so quickly. Not because the clove water is strong, but because the signal is steady. Let me ask you something. What does your evening meal usually look like? Is it heavy? Is it light? Share in the comments, because you'll notice a theme. Those who shift to lighter suppers find this ritual far more effective, and your note might give someone else the courage to try a change that helps them too. Here's the line worth hearing twice. It's not about the cloves alone. It's about when you drink it, how you prepare it, and what you pair it with. Get those right, and you've created a ritual your body can actually trust. And when your body trusts the signal, nights start to feel calmer and mornings feel safer. So now that you've learned the core habits and the accelerator, let's move into something just as important. Who needs to be careful, the common exceptions, and the safe alternatives if cloves don't work for you. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. This sounds wonderful, but what if I'm on medication? What if my stomach is sensitive? What if cloves just don't sit right with me? These are the exact questions you should be asking, because one of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to force something that isn't right for their body. And I want you to hear this clearly. Clove water is not for everyone. Let's start with medication. If you take blood thinners or have a bleeding disorder, cloves may not be the best choice. Why? Because cloves contain a compound that has a mild effect on clotting. For most people in small amounts, it's no problem at all. But if you're already on medication that thins your blood, even a small influence can matter. If that's you, don't panic. Just talk with your doctor first. That one simple step can keep you safe. Now, let's talk about diabetes. Many seniors use medication to control blood sugar. Nighttime habits can shift your readings, and that includes clove water. It doesn't raise sugar levels like sweets do, but any change in your routine, especially at night, can affect how your body processes glucose. If you're managing diabetes, keep track of your morning readings when you start this practice. That way, you'll know whether it helps you or whether it needs to be adjusted. Another important group, those with reflux or GERD. Here's the tricky part. For some, clove water feels soothing. For others, it irritates, and that difference usually comes down to timing and portion. If you already struggle with reflux, keep your evening meal lighter, sip a smaller amount of clove water earlier in the evening, and always rinse your mouth afterward. That small adjustment can prevent irritation and still give you the calming signal you need. Dental health is another overlooked factor. Clove oil has long been used to soothe toothaches, but regular exposure without rinsing can leave your mouth feeling dry or your enamel vulnerable. That's why I always recommend following clove water with a rinse of plain water. Simple, quick, and protective. Here's something you may find reassuring. If cloves don't work for you, or if you're not comfortable trying them, you can still use the principle. Because the real power is not in the spice. It's in the pattern. Warmth, aroma, and timing are what speak to your body. So if cloves aren't your match, try a slice of ginger steeped briefly in water. Or try roasted barley tea, which is caffeine-free and widely enjoyed in Japan at night. Both create the same calming cues: warmth, softness, and closure to the day. Let me share a story that proves the point. I once met a caregiver who struggled through exhausting nights caring for a partner with dementia. She thought she had no options left. We made one small shift: lighter suppers and a shared ritual with warm clove water afterward. Within 2 weeks, she told me, I still wake up, but I'm no longer collapsing by morning. Did it solve everything? Number. But did it make life more livable? Absolutely. And here's the takeaway. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to find a version that works for you. So let me ask you this. What's one reason you might hesitate to try clove water? Is it medication, reflux, or simply the taste? Share it in the comments. You'll be surprised how many others are thinking the same thing, and your words may help someone else find the courage to adjust instead of give up. Here's the line I want you to remember. Exceptions don't mean failure. They mean fine-tuning. You're not locked into one path. You can adjust the strength, the timing, the amount, or you can choose a different warm, calming drink altogether. The principle stays the same. And that principle, clear nightly signals, can transform restless nights into steady ones. So as you think about your own health, remember this. Clove water is a tool, not a rule. Use it if it fits, adjust it if it doesn't, and always respect your body's feedback. Because when you listen closely and make small changes with wisdom, you give yourself the best chance for nights that restore and mornings that feel safe again. Now that we've covered the science, the habits, and the exceptions, let's bring this down to something simple, something you can actually do tonight. Because knowledge without action doesn't change your life, but a small step, repeated consistently, can transform your nights and your mornings. So here's what it looks like. You finish supper a little earlier than usual, not rushed, just earlier, so your body has room to breathe. You close the kitchen, no more snacks, no more heavy drinks. That moment is important because it tells your body the day's eating is complete. Then, while the dishes are done and the lights are soft, you place 1 or 2 cloves in a cup, pour warm water over them, and let them steep. No rush, just 3 to 7 minutes. Then you remove the cloves, Sit down in your favorite chair and sip slowly. What happens next isn't dramatic. You won't feel a jolt. You won't suddenly drop into sleep. Instead, it's gentle. Your throat relaxes, your breathing deepens, your mind stops racing, and little by little, your body begins to understand. The work of the day is finished. Now it can release. That's your evening signal. It's not just about the clove water. It's about creating a rhythm. Supper, cup, rest. When you repeat that rhythm night after night, your nervous system learns. And once it learns, your nights shift. You may notice fewer wake-ups. You may feel steadier in the morning. You may even find your energy during the day grows stronger because your body finally got what it needed: deep, restorative rest. Here's a powerful truth. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to follow a strict schedule down to the minute. You don't need to measure every single step. What matters is consistency. The body listens to patterns more than perfection. So if you're thinking, "I'll probably mess this up," take a deep breath. Imperfect action counts. Every step forward counts. Think of it like a garden. You don't plant once and expect blooms forever. You water consistently, you create the right conditions, and in time, the flowers appear. Your nights are the same. Clove water is just the watering can. The real power is in showing up for yourself each evening. I want to hear from you. What part of this feels easiest for you to try tonight? Is it finishing supper earlier? Is it making the cup itself? Or is it simply lowering the lights and letting your body know the day is done? Drop your answer in the comments. When you share, you inspire others who might be afraid to start. Here's a line worth repeating. Your nights don't begin when you turn off the lights. They begin when you give your body the signal that the day is ending. And the more often you send that signal, the stronger it becomes. So tonight, try it. Just once. Close the kitchen, make the cup, sip slowly, breathe. And tomorrow morning, notice how your body feels. You may not get perfection on the first try, but you'll start a process that, over time, can give you calmer nights and safer mornings. Because here's the reality. Your health, your balance, your independence in these years all come down to daily rhythms. Small choices compound. A simple ritual done consistently can protect your energy more than any pill ever could. So the question is, will tonight be the night you begin? We started by facing a hard truth. Broken nights don't just leave you tired, they chip away at your strength, your memory, and your independence. But we also discovered something hopeful. A small nightly ritual, clove water, can become a signal that helps your body release the day and settle into rest. Think about what we've walked through together. The problem isn't only sleep itself, it's the confusing signals sent in the hours before bed. We talked about timing, temperature, and balance, how each one fine-tunes the message your body receives. We explored the two core habits that make clove water powerful and the quiet accelerator that multiplies the effect. And we addressed exceptions because this is not one size fits all. You now know how to adjust for your own health, your own routines, your own comfort. Here's the most important point. None of this works if it stays an idea. It only works when you try it, even if it's imperfect. Tonight, close the kitchen earlier, steep a gentle cup, sip slowly, and notice how your body responds. That's how new rhythms are born, one evening at a time. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which part of this feels easiest for you to start with tonight? Comment below. When you share, you help others who may be nervous to take their first step. Remember this line. Your nights don't begin when you turn off the light. They begin when you give your body the signal that the day is done. A warm cup, repeated consistently, may change far more than your sleep. It may change your mornings, your energy, and your confidence to live fully. So go make tonight the first step in that direction.